I started playing sports when I was little on the recess field or around my house. I had an older brother, and I wanted to hang out with him. I looked up to him. He's 2 years older than me. He played football a lot, so I would play football with him at recess. And then when I got into 6th grade, he started playing on a Pop Warner team here in Seattle. And so I kept asking my mom, can I play, can I play? And at first she wouldn't let me play. And then there was actually a girl, so they had divisions, and for my age group, there happened to be a girl in that division on that team. So my mom said, okay, we'll let you try it. And so I tried football and I fell in love with it. Unfortunately, I was the best on the team, like I was the fastest, the strongest. I know women matured faster than boys, but I couldn't play, one, because I was a girl. The coach, for whatever the reason, didn't want to let me play because I was a girl. And then the starting running back ahead of me, his dad used to always go up to the coach after he'd take his son out and say, hey, you can give my son like 3 more times with the ball, or can you do this? So I only got to play sometimes. And every day after practice, I'd go home and cry. And not cry because I understood, like I couldn't help it. He believed what he believed and the dad did what he did, but it was like just a frustration, like why are things this way? And my mom used to always just say, like, it'll get better one day, like don't stop being you, regardless of whatever's going on, don't stop being you. So in 6th grade, we actually moved to Pahrump. Well, I say Las Vegas, but it's 60 miles west from Las Vegas, Nevada, and it's called Pahrump. Has 1 high school, 1 middle school. It's predominantly Caucasian, and I actually grew up in SeaTac. So it was very diverse culture, a lot of culture. I wasn't even surrounded by a lot of people that looked like me. I was just surrounded by a lot of different people. So moving to Pahrump in 7th grade, during that time where like you're starting to question your identity to the world versus your identity with your family. And so when I got there, it was like kind of like, oh shoot, the ego in my head really started talking loud, and it was kind of a difficult time for me, but it was still good. So in 7th grade, I still kept playing football because they had football in middle school. So I played football in 7th grade and 8th grade. In 7th grade, I got to start. It was really good. I got to play. I just loved that I got the opportunity. In 8th grade, I still played and did well, but because the boys started maturing, I didn't get as much playing time as I did in 7th grade. And then, yeah, I could see the change. Like I was still the fastest on my team, but they were getting strong. And so I remember one girl asking me before we went into 9th grade, she's like, so are you gonna play football? And I was like, nah. Like I didn't even question. Everybody, when they look at you, they're like, I've been seeing you play football and run around the boys, like you'll do great in high school. But when you're in the sport and you hit with these boys every day, understanding how they're going to continue to grow and I'm going to stop. So yeah, I just was, even my mom thought I wanted to play in high school, but I was like, no, like I'm good. So I remember saying to someone, like, if they ever have women's football, I'll probably play that. Like I just said it randomly. And so in 9th grade, 10th grade, 11th, high school, I just kept involved. It was a great, I had a great career, like great school career. Was student council president, was involved in National Junior and Junior Honor Society. I was a 15-time state champion in track individually in the 1, 2, 4 and long jump. And we won a state championship my senior year as a team. And then I was a 2-time basketball state champ. And then my senior year, we actually got 2nd place runner-up. And then soccer, I just played the sport because it went soccer, basketball, track, and I needed something to stay in shape for track. But I was only running track because I couldn't play football. And I was already fast, so do what everybody tells you you're good at. And like I said, I didn't really know my identity as far as like myself and how my purpose meant in the world. So I kind of was just doing what my mom thought I was good at or what made my family happy. But it still made me happy because it made people happy, and I love to make people happy. So My mom worked 2 jobs most of my whole life, so I didn't grow up on my own, but me and my brother kind of grew up together. We were always at somebody's house. If it was a daycare person or my grandma's house, there was a lot of times somebody else was taking care of us, or we actually were taking care of ourselves once we moved to Pahrump. And when we were in 6th grade, since my brother was in 8th grade, my mom let us stay home. When we moved to, after my senior year, so me and when I used to visit my cousins in high school, we always used to talk about Arizona State. My grandma and my grandpa actually graduated from Arizona State, and when I'd visit them, we'd always go to the ASU games. So we're like, yeah, we're gonna be Sun Devils, but just talking. We weren't, wasn't serious. I didn't think I was serious, but I was just talking about it. And so when I started doing really good in track, I started getting so many letters. Like, I remember my sophomore year when I first started getting letters, and I was like, I'm not that good, like I'm just some girl from Pahrump. And our school was 3A and all the Vegas schools were 4A. So the only time I raced against them was big track meets, but I didn't race against them against state. So, but my times always beat them or was the same as theirs. So in Nevada, I was at the top, but because I was in a different class, I didn't think I was getting noticed. I was in a small school. So my junior year, like, the letters started coming. I went on a recruiting trip to Oregon, to Notre Dame, to TCU, to South Carolina, and to ASU. That was the blessing. Like, out of all of it, when I got the letter from Arizona State, I was like, nah, not Arizona State. Like, they don't know about me. And I opened the letter. They were interested. They wanted to give me a full ride scholarship. And I was like, okay. Like, it was kind of like it felt right. It felt like that's where I was supposed to be. I went there on a recruiting visit. I felt the same way, and so I ended up choosing Arizona State to go to track, to go run track. I didn't get to long jump, but I did get to run the 1, 2, 4. We ran the 4x4, the 4x1. I was the first leg on the 4x1 and the 4x4 all 4 years. My freshman year was the hardest year. That's when I learned I had asthma. So backtracking back to when I was little, I always breathe like this, like how I take those short breaths. And I asked my mom one day, like, Mom, I think I have asthma. This is the story she tells me. She tells me that I used to watch commercials, and when they would say that there's something wrong, I'd say, Mom, I have that. So she thought that that's what I was doing when I told her I had asthma. So she just dismissed it. And when I got to college, the first day at track practice, my trainer was like, why are you breathing like that? And I'm like, isn't this how everybody breathes? And so I ended up finding out I had asthma. And then as I was always the smallest in my class until I was in high school. And so, and even being in football, not being able to play that first year, I've always kind of had this will to, like, I can do it. Like, I can do it, because people always told me I couldn't. Like, you're too small. You're a girl. Like, you're just Nate's sister. Like, you don't know what you're talking about. Like, I didn't understand why I was always getting dismissed by just trying to express myself. You know what I mean? And the only way I learned how to express myself is from the people that been here first. So when I was just trying to be what I thought was being a human, I always got dismissed. So I had always had this will of, like, nope, I'm about to prove myself. I'm about to prove myself. I don't know who these people think they are. And so that's what kind of helped me in track. Track wasn't my first love, but it got me a scholarship. And like me and my mom and my brother, financially wasn't good for us growing up. My father wasn't a good man, so my mom, she had to do some things like run away from him. And so she's always been building ever since we were in high school. So that's kind of why me and my brother had to take care of ourselves a lot. So going to track, it was good. I hated the 400, but it was my best event. Like, I broke school records and stuff in it, but, like, I hate it. And it's not that I hated it. Man, I don't know. It's like, you know how some people like chocolate and some people don't? Like, I just didn't like running the 400. I eventually got fast. I learned to develop and get fast in the 100 and 200, so I ended up running 11.3 in the 100, 23.2 in the 2, and 51 in the 4. 52 in the 4. 52, yes, 52 in the 4. And then 4x4, we made it to nationals, won a national championship my freshman year. We almost won indoors and outdoors. It actually came down to the 4x4. We were tied with LSU. I was first leg. I got the baton off in second. Unfortunately, we couldn't hold it. We were in lane 8. I'm not saying we all didn't do our part, but it literally came down to the 4x4, and we ended up getting 5th place in that race. LSU got 1st or 2nd, so they ended up winning the whole thing. Track started to become like, I don't know, because I didn't really know who I was kind of doing things for people, but I didn't really realize it until after the fact. I was really close to like a lot of my coaches, and my sprint coach, I was really close with him, and nothing happened as far as like anything bad, but like there would be times like I'd just come to his office and do my homework and stuff, and you know how people vent. I'm a coach now, and you just need sometimes to release energy. Sometimes he would release energy about the team that wasn't very nice, and I was the type of person just like, you know, if that's what you want to talk about, okay, I'm not going to go back and repeat it. And so something happened with me, and it wasn't anything bad, but it was just the fact that he was telling my business to other people. I kind of like, and now that I think about it in reflection, I think I kind of like idolized him, but I didn't realize it at the time. I didn't have my dad in my life, and so a male figure was kind of always something I wanted, and me and him clicked right off the bat. He came in my freshman year, and I came in my freshman year. They got a new sprint coach, and we kind of just became friends. And so after that happened, I kind of lost respect. And I already didn't like track, so I already was kind of like, dang, I started losing my love for it. I continued my year out, and I got my degree in elementary education. And then after that, there was just kind of like a void. Like I said, I still didn't know who I was. But I knew I loved sports. Like, I wanted to go to the Olympics. That's actually been my goal since I was little. I've always wanted to go to the Olympics, but I thought I could only do it in track because I only thought I was good in track. And so this whole time, since I'm 29 now, this whole 29 years of my life has been trying to get to the Olympics. I know I've been blessed with the ability to like, I think each and every one of us in our own way has been blessed with the ability to kind of break the mold or like be different than what people say, like, you know, we're older, but we're stronger than people my age. I know with me, like, I'm just as fast but people wouldn't think that when they see me, or I'm just as strong as somebody, but they wouldn't think that when they see me, or I can jump very high, but they wouldn't think that when they see me. And so I know I have this ability in me that I've just wanted to and I haven't really had the opportunity, I feel like, to really do that. And when I found the LFL, it started there. I started to see a glimpse of myself my rookie year in 2015. My rookie year, like, it felt good to just demonstrate and express the fullness of everything that was inside me without, what is somebody gonna think about it? What does my coach say? What do my teammates say? When I was on the field, I was just Dominique. Now, outside the field, unfortunately, I didn't have good support on my team. Like, I came in on a team and in a time when they were still about the old mold, like what you look like, and I'm just happy to be on the team because I'm cute, but I don't need you trying to mess this up. So, excuse me. And unfortunately, it wasn't bad, but I was still fumbling with my identity, and I just kind of got caught up in the influence, and I just thought, well, I guess I gotta be like them to be successful in the league. And it wasn't bad, but it started to create wounds in me. It started to create strongholds that now I'm still fighting, and I hate it, because now that I know, being on the other side of the mountain, I'm like, it wasn't anything that I thought it was. But it was great. I had a great season, got Rookie of the Year, was a running back, and it was like everything I wanted. But then this team got dismantled in Vegas, so I was trying to find a new home in Seattle. I talked to Coach Chris. He recruited me. I came down, asked me if I can live there. I was like, all right, cool. Moved down here in 2016 just for the season, and it was different because, one, I had to play wide receiver, and what's funny is when I was little, me and my brother were the fastest in our neighborhood, so anytime we were on the same team, he would just give me the ball and just go run. but I didn't catch. Don't throw me the ball and catch it. I don't do that. So, see, when Seattle came and coach wanted me to be starting and being able to catch like the first game within 3 months, it was a big challenge, like trying to rise to the occasion, but being used to being this mold and only being this way, but this is how I'm good, and no, but this is how it's supposed to be. So it was perfect because that's what I needed to kind of get out of myself and become selfless and understand that the bigger picture about life. Like there was times where like he's just yelling, and I'm just like taking it, and the old me would either defend, attack, would walk away, and it took, the LFL gave me opportunities to be who I know I really am, and not just athletically, but the quality of my character. It sucked though, because while I was in Seattle, I was injured. I got a knee injury coming, and then I got in a car accident 2 years ago in 2017. So the whole time I'm playing, I'm just battling injury. And so as much as I'm growing in my character and understanding God and being more spiritual and being, yeah, this is what Dominique's meant to do, I'm still fighting the mental in the athletic battle, because I'm like, but I'm still not expressing who I am. I'm still not doing, like, I still know there's more I can give. And if this knee could just heal, if it could just heal. Now fast forwarding here, we won a national championship, and it's so awesome. It was great. Because I didn't live in Seattle and then Coach Chris stopped coaching, I was just looking for a new home, Nashville. So I met Danica in 2015, actually in 2014 at a gym in Vegas. Kind of like, I want to say, I'm not sure who was saying it, but when I saw the girls, I saw like they had a poster of the girls, and first, because my goals were Olympics, I'm thinking like, are these girls really being about that life, or are they just like, you know? Yeah, and so Danica tried to recruit me in 2014, but I didn't. I said, no, I'm not about that, because it's probably not what I want. But then I ended up playing 2015, but she came to Seattle in 2015. She retired in 2017, and now she's the head coach in Nashville, and now I'm playing under her. So yeah, it's just crazy how everything's kind of coming full circle. This team is just, this journey seems the most interesting in particular, because it feels like, I don't know if you guys seen Daria, but there's this episode in Daria where they're going in this wilderness and they're walking down this trail. I feel like all 20 or all the people involved have been walking down their own separate trails, and like we ran into each other like, oh shoot, okay. And then now we just are all deciding to go down this right way, not right like we were going the wrong way. And this is, I don't know, I feel like I'm part of something special now. I realize it's bigger than me. As much as I know that I want to show, like, I really feel like one day I can play in a game and people really like, is she a man on the field? Like, I really feel like that's inside of me. And now that I'm realizing it's bigger than myself, I know that by seeking first the kingdom of heaven and giving who I am to what the now is, the present moment, if I'm at practice, if I'm with my family, whatever the now is for me, giving the fullness to that, I know the rest of it will take care of itself. Even if that means if it's 10 years from now or 20 years from now, you inspired me to know that I can keep going. So yeah, sorry to keep going so deep, but yeah, play for Nashville now, and thank you guys.
Thanks, Dominique.
Thank you.
And, it was just a year ago. She was lucky to be able to play.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
That was a bad car accident. She was in it with her mom, and the fact that she was able to actually even play is pretty amazing.
Thanks.
And not only did she play, she
my mom, not to continue, but my mom actually, now our relationship is now better, but she's kind of my inspiration, because we were driving from Vegas to Prump, and I was thinking about work, like I need to make this money because I got to get back to Seattle, like hurry up mom, let's go. She didn't do anything wrong. A car was driving in our lane, and there's barriers on the side because they're doing construction, so my mom couldn't veer off to the side. The car was coming in front, and the car was gonna come at me, and I was at peace about it. I'm like, all right, it's gonna happen, let's do this. The last second, my mom turned the wheel, and the car ended up hitting her, and she has a rod in her leg, blew out both her knees. So like, yeah, that could have been me. So if it wasn't for my mom, and God, of course, I don't think I would have the ability to be right here and like now be so dedicated to give to the world. So yeah.
All right.
No, thank you. I'm sorry for getting. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Dominic.
Appreciate you.